Hey, everybody, welcome to the very special deep dive film review, deep dive after dark, deep dive uncensored. This is where we drill down on the all 22 tape and try to show you some of the finer points of the game each week. And hey, if you want to really get into the finer points and really drill down, you need to join Inside Texas. Join for $1 and get a full year of access to The Athletic. It is the best place for the Longhorn sports conversation. All right, let's go to the tape.
This is one of our favorite examples of Ohio State being very tricksy in coverage against Texas. It's 1st and 10 in the first quarter. It's the first play of Texas's second or third drive here. They've got both tight ends on the field, but they try to dial up a shot down the field in play action against Ohio State. Ryan Wingo running a post from the top of your screen. The running back is going to go into the flat. And then Jack Indries, the second tight end, is going to cross and be the over route option if they get back on the post route. On the bottom, Parker Livingston, backside dig, the last choice for Arch Manning. He's not going to get there. What you'll see as Connor draws the defensive assignments is that this guy he has circled right here is a safety who's going to drop from like right across from the corner, from the receiver, all the way to the deep middle of the field. The two outside corners are Bale. Caleb Downs on the bottom is going to end up blitzing number 2. And then the other circled player, the nickel, Sonny Styles, ends up as a deep middle hole player in this blitz deal that Ohio State runs. When the play rolls, what you see is a lot of covered receivers and ultimately a lot of pressure in Manning's face.
Yeah, one thing I like about this, Ian, is this is zone concepts, right? But notice how Ohio State's not guarding grass.
Yeah.
They are picking up men within the zone construct. And that even makes it more deceptive for the quarterback because as he's dropping back, guys aren't where he expected them to be post snap, right? And are they in zone here? Are they in man? Like I got guys running with guys, and then I've got other guys dropping. Like, what am I looking at? And you can tell that that's something that's going through Arch's head, and that's going to compound a later problem we're going to see here in about a second and a half.
Yeah, he's going to try to get it to Indries on that crosser. Ends up sailing it high, and he's got like maybe 2 different guys that end up in his face.
So here's part of the reason it's sailed. So stop right there. Excellent. You'll see he drifted slightly in the pocket. He's trying to get a window to throw, right? So we have the wonders of the eye in the sky and all 22 view. The quarterback in the pocket does not. So when Arch was in the pocket and they had that all covered up, he couldn't see. He needed to drift a little. But unfortunately, our guard got spin moved and a little bit dislocated. And then Gooseby really gets driven back here too far. It's okay to give a little ground as a tackle. You know, you can cede a little ground if you got a guy locked up. But little too much, and Arch drifts into him as he's trying to make the throw. I think that might have affected the inaccuracy.
Yeah. Also, he's covered. The guy he's throwing to is covered. Could a perfect throw be completed? Sure. But he gets walled up the seam, he gets carried up to this guy, and this guy is all over it. I think Indries makes contact with like at least 2 Buckeyes before he hits the spot where Manning is trying to throw to. I don't know if I've ever seen a college football team run a blitz coverage quite like that before.
Yeah, and look, that tells you what they think of Zero, right? I mean, they're very comfortable ISOing him with anyone in space. Like, I'm not trying to beat this point. Ohio State doesn't have a ton of respect for our running backs because they're assigning a 250-pound linebacker one-on-one, and they're not concerned. And let's just watch it full. Drift, throw, everyone's covered.
All right, Paul, this is one of the worst plays of the game. Game on the line, 3rd and 5. Last drive Texas would get in the 4th quarter. Gotta have it. And Sark dials up. Perfect play.
Yep.
Perfect play for Arch Manning. He's got Wisner lined up outside. He's going to come in the box. They see that he's in man coverage against Caleb Downs. They motion him back out again. And that gets somebody else on him besides Caleb Downs and puts Caleb Downs like back in deep coverage. They're going to run a mesh looking play. As you can see, Ohio State desperately communicating to make sure everybody knows who's got who. They're going to run a mesh looking play with Wingo as the outside guy running across, crossing paths with injuries, while the two receivers inside of Wingo are going to run up the field like they're running routes. They're going to do sort of a convincing job of, I got to get downfield to my spot. Really, they're just like trying to grab Ohio State players and shove them out of the way. And the upshot is they get almost like 3 picks on the circled player, which is Ryan Wingo's defender in man coverage. 3 picks on him. 1 would have done enough. This is going to roll here. They're going to communicate. A funny thing you'll see is that they send Wisner out to the flat. They have no intention of throwing to anybody except Ryan Wingo. But if they had thrown to Wisner, that's probably a first down.
So, Ian, when we stop here and you see all those picks, you see Livingston's actively blocking.
Yeah.
That could have been flagged, but hey, I didn't see anything. I want you to see how this is opening up. Andries is going the other way, so that guy's going to trail him. Protection is going to be basically perfect. Wingo is about to be, I want you to keep your eyes on Wingo. He's on the 50 right now, headed across the O. He is about to break as open as it gets. So if you're saying Sark didn't scheme up any open receivers, it happened a few times, and we did not take advantage of it. Wow.
That is a first down, maybe an explosive gain, maybe a touchdown. I don't know. I don't know if I want to assume that Caleb Downs doesn't run it down before the goal line. And what goes wrong here, Paul? Why on earth did they not complete? There's only one read. It's throw to Ryan Wingo when he's open.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to emphasize. This is the play call. He's not reading a bunch of progressions. It's we're going to get Wingo open, flip it to him. It's a play that on Friday nights in high schools all around Texas, quarterbacks make all the time. So he's got perfect protection. Look, he's looking at Wingo. He knows where he's throwing the ball. And as Wingo breaks open, Arch sidearms it and throws it behind him. Wingo tries to get the ball, but if a guy's running full speed on a crosser, which is what you want, you don't jog that, right? You've got to put it out in front of him. And he puts it behind him, so he doesn't have a chance. You see 2 closing there at the end. If you look at the angle and where Arch should have hit him, Wingo could have caught it faced up and had a 2-way go.
Yeah.
So not only is this is obviously a first down, this is obviously at least a 15-yard gain. I think there's a decent chance that Wingo shakes this guy and scores. There's a decent probability there.
Yeah, there was one more guy rotating back that I actually thought was Downs before I saw this angle. That would have had a chance to stop a touchdown, but this could have been a score.
There was some talk about Arch's mechanics in this game. This is an example of odd mechanics. He knows where he's going with the ball. It's wide open. Why are you throwing that sidearm?
The best I can do is that I think Arch, he knows who he's throwing to. He wants to get the ball out and make the play as quickly as possible. Huge moment in the game. And I think he was looking and he's like, okay, I'm ready. And then he's like, okay, Wingo's not looking at me yet. He waits for Wingo to look at him and he's like, I got to get this out. And he doesn't turn and reset. And
so I will mildly challenge that. Wingo's looking at him the minute he enters the O of the Ohio in the middle of the, look.
Yes.
Wingo's ready.
Throw. You're right.
I just think Arch has jitters here, and he bricks a very, frankly, this is a very easy throw.
Maybe he wanted him to come into a cleaner window to throw, but he doesn't. He doesn't set his feet to do so.
Right. I mean, even if Arch throws it late, so the reason it's important to get it out early, like here, is the sooner Wingo gets it on the run, He can
Yes.
turn and face up on that defender. He's got a two-way go, meaning he can cut inside or he can run to the sideline. Also, Wingo's 215, and he might be able to run through this guy.
Yes.
Even if he throws it late, it's a first down and 12, 15 yards for Texas. Fair?
Yes.
So, any way you cut it, this was a perfectly schemed play. It should have gone for a very important play and a big gain, and the quarterback does not deliver the ball.
So our last time, we'll watch it one more time here. Really rub the salt in.
Yeah. Speaking of rub, it's rub the salt and a rub route.
Thank you, Paul.
Wingo's looking, sidearm inaccurate behind him. And you could see on the full field view what the opportunity was there for Wingo.
I will say Downs plays with zero hesitation.
No, that guy's so instinctive and so fast. Just a natural football player. He's good at everything.
That's amazing.
Hey, y'all, you've been watching the deep dive film review where we try to drill into the finer points of what's going on the field. There's nothing complex about this decision. If you're buying a house, you need to refi your house. You need to call Gabe Winslow at 832-557-1095. Why? Over 20 years in the industry, he's fantastic at what he does. Go read his over 200 Google reviews raving about the level of service he provides. This is a guy he's a former National Merit Scholar. He's got a law degree. This is a guy who's a little bit cut above the average mortgage guy. And right now, if your current home is at 6.5% or higher, you need to call him and he'll refi you for free. Absolutely free. There's no catch. Dial the number and find out how it works. 832-557-1095. We want to show you an illustration of a good running play. And what's particularly notable about this one is Ohio State is in an honest box. This is not a light box. So we did good, honest work here. I want you to focus on the pullers. We're going to have Trey Gooseby and, of course, Connor Stroh pulling. Connor's going to be in a straight line. He's going to kick out the defensive end right there. Gooseby's going to turn up right behind him, and his job is to block the first scarlet enemy jersey that he encounters. So let's run the play and see how these guys execute. Stroh, contact, good. Gooseby, beautiful. Now watch both of these pullers. Watch how they move their feet after contact. We've got a big hole developing here, Ian.
Yeah, this enormous hole. Connor pots it at the perfect spot in terms of you can see Wisner is kind of tippy-toeing to the line to see what's up. And what he sees is this. What he sees is the most enormous, obvious lane that has ever existed.
Agreed.
So I should probably run through that space.
Yes, and I wish Trey would plant his foot and get up the field a little faster, but he gets in there. What you'll notice is he's not touched for 11 yards. And when he's touched, he goes down.
Two other well-schemed dimensions of this play. Manning can read this end that's charging at him and pull the ball if the end overcommits to the running back. And they're also holding the other safety and the nickel with a bubble screen option to the field that you can't see in this view. So they've got, it's still an honest box. It's not a light box for Ohio State, but they're isolated.
Great point.
If we block this right, the only person left is the deep safety, Caleb Downs.
Great point. Ian, you'll notice to your point, Arch's eyes on the defensive end, they lock eyes, tells that edge as he's doing that fake, hey, I might pull this, and look at his footwork. He's even suggesting, look at Arch's, hey, I might have this. And the end sprints up the field. Once you sprint up the field from the backside, you can't make a play on the play side.
Yep.
Talk about play side. Let's run this again. One of the most important things here, those kick out blocks were very important. But I want you to notice that Baker does a nice job here, number 73. He's going to block down. He's got the angle advantage. DJ Campbell's got an angle advantage. This is a characteristic of gap blocking. Play side, you're always going to have an angle advantage. And that's why it's fun to be a gap blocker. But what's important is you've got to move people. You can't just tie. You can't just get a helmet on a helmet and say, here I am. That's sort of a zone blocking mentality. And it's something that this offensive line's got to get a lot meaner and a lot nastier to really embrace this. So let's watch Brandon Baker, and then you can watch DJ Campbell.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's right. So Brandon gets this guy rooted out. Look,
Terrific.
DJ Campbell he's got a great advantage on this linebacker who's coming. He kind of just catches him. I mean, you'd like to see a little more physicality, frankly, from a 31 start senior. Look at him shuffle, like half shuffle, and then catch him. It's fine. It works.
And grab him.
Yeah, and then he grabs him. That official's looking at them. He could throw the flag right there. But the thing that's really important about these pullers is watch Stroh continue to move his feet after contact, and watch Gooseby to continue to move his feet after contact. Boom, 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 boom. I'm driving you now. That very rarely happened. Most of our pullers in this game were very content to just make contact and then kind of stand there. So we wanted to show you a positive example of what this O-line can do when they really fire out and they really try to bring some aggression and some motor. And again, this is not a light box. This is a 4-3 in we're looking at right now. This is not them running their nickel, little or penny front with the 5-1, right?
Right.
So I just think this is a good example of what we can be. Wisner tackled at first contact. You make your own judgments on that.
This one, an Ohio State play, 3rd and 4 in the second quarter. And this is an obvious passing situation. Ohio State is in an obvious passing set with the tight end flexed out. And Texas is in a pretty obvious coverage. It's like everybody's pretty much going to cover the guy they're lined up across from. The trick is that the guy across from the field slot is freshman Grayson Littleton. And even though it's 3rd and 4, what you worry about here is any of the particularly hard slot routes where the nickel's going to get isolated. And Ohio State takes that opportunity and they're like, we have a great chance to throw a slot fade here. We're just going to see if we can get a chance at a touchdown or a big play and not just try to take the easy chain throw. So they get Ennis, their star slot, lined up on Grayson Littleton, and roll tape. Pretty good coverage, Paul.
Yeah, and you'll notice, Ian, good coverage everywhere. We've got everybody locked down. And so we didn't get a ton of true passing opportunities. Ohio State played it pretty close to the vest in many instances, but there's not a lot of open guys. And the one guy that came open late when the play's already determined. So that is really nice coverage. Littleton really matches his route nicely.
Yeah. You have so much space. The trick with this play is that the receiver has so much space out to the sideline. And so it's hard to jam him or knock him off his route because he has so much room. But you can try to get into his hip and at least knock him off the line that the quarterback throws. And then you definitely need to be in phase so that you have a chance to contest. And I believe we'll see in the end zone view, the ball was actually perfectly thrown.
Sayin throws an amazing ball under pressure. He gets hit as he releases it, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Littleton did all he could, and the receiver drops it. So Ty went to the defense on that one. The pressure, Paul, the pressure on this one is interesting as well.
Yeah, it's Hero Kanu. Hero Kanu, the Ohio State transfer, had the most snaps of any of our interior defensive line. Our interior defensive line played really well in this game, Ian. We had 5 guys who all played well. And they all have very different bodies and styles. The reason that Kanu is going to get the most snaps of these guys is his energy, and he's the most explosive of the 5. And I want you to show you here with this beautiful swim move that gets a hit on Sayin as he releases it. Kanu is down here, lined up over the guard. He's number 93. Nice swim move. Very sudden.
Yeah.
Boom. And watch, he plants his foot there, and he gets up the field quickly, right? So, I mean, Sayin had that ball, bop, 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 throw. I mean, to get a pressure and a hit on the quarterback in basically this immediate release timing route, very impressive. And this is why Kanu is going to be a guy that's going to be a fixture in our defense. And you'll see the great throw here from Sayin. He dropped it in there. Littleton is in the best position he can be.
Sark mentioned maybe Texas will play Ohio State again this year. I would rather not. I'm not sure we want to face late season saying in this passing game.
Hey, maybe they don't want to face late season Arch. This is a final play. We want to show part of the defensive excellence and a staple that we've been using when teams want to get big with us. We respond by getting big back, Ian. And we played 3 defensive tackles multiple times throughout this game in a lot of different fronts. Right now, we're in a basic, almost like old school 5-2. Ohio State is actually in 13 personnel. That means 3 tight ends. And our crack producer circled those tight ends for you. They've got us outnumbered here, actually. But because we're getting big inside and across the board starting, so I'm not talking about the 2 edges here, but the 3 white guys, the 3 white jerseys you see here in the middle, you'll see January, Brevard directly over the nose, and then Canoe is over in almost like a shaded 4-eye. Every single one of these guys does a great job. And then the linebacker comes in and delivers the coup de grace. So let's run this and see how these 3 guys allow LaFau to eat, because these 3 guys and LaFau, basically 4 on the interior, defeat 6 Ohio State players. So let it run. Motion. Now they got a lead. Oh, Brevard is. So this happened very quickly. Brevard got triple teamed and basically didn't give ground. That's Brevard right there. And then, so we can watch him. Boom. Now he takes on the lead blocker. Now he takes on the guard, and he's not moving. He's not budging. Canoe, outside of him, 93, you see him wrapping around, does something very athletic here. Watch. He's in a 4-eye. He is going to actually matador this guy, but with power, and actually end up driving this tackle into the dirt and then closing so the back can't bounce it. Watch this. Boom, boom, get off me, and here I am. And then January's coming from the backside, getting held, by the way, by the tackle. And Ian, throughout this game, January coming from the backside was a monster. That partly it's his football IQ, his intelligence, but he is a hard guy to deter. So watch this offensive tackle hold him, and January gets there anyway. Good initial pop. And I'm going to go to the ball. This guy's still trying to drag him. January makes himself part of the play. But then finally, do you want to handle the coup de grace of what Leonga LaFau here does?
Leonga LaFau does a great job. He sees what's coming. He takes a good angle. He gets under the pad with leverage of the guard, shucks him, and gets penetration and hits the running back. I wonder if either LaFau or Canoe could have just made the play without the other, but it so happened that they both got to the ball carrier.
Well, that is the thing about defense, is you all create for each other, right? If Brevard had just given up 2-3 steps backwards, that angle, right, is different. If Canoe doesn't, and Canoe and January aren't closing in hard, and they each did it in different ways, you don't know if maybe that back can bounce it a little, right? And burrow and find a little space. But all these guys are working in concert, and it's just absolutely beautiful defensive football. So if there's any teams thinking they're going to get big and bully Texas this year, I don't know if that's going to work out for you.
The R2D2 guy is doing a very good job coaching these players up. Very little to no slippage in D-line play, despite the constant turnover of NFL draft picks.
Very impressive what we did in the portal. Well, hey, we wanted to share some of the plays, the good and the bad and the ugly, that we saw in this Ohio State game. Obviously a close and very tough loss for Texas, but we're going to wash it and move forward to San Jose State. We want to thank all of you for joining us.